What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews.
What up?
I got my highly esteemed guest again, Ansem from BLG, aka Bootleg Gang, and also my homie Reese, King of the North from Torture Chamber. Say
Yeah,
what's up,
what's up?
fellas?
Yeah,
What's good? You got some theme music in the background, huh?
yeah. Supposed to
Yeah, I hear that.
Everybody look up DNA never been the DNA disc never been outside by Jay Mills. That might be the battle rap song of the year. Jay
I'm gonna
Mills
have to
never
check
been
that out
outside.
after this, most definitely. Okay, so gentlemen, tonight we got a lot to talk about. This is going to be probably part one of a two-part episode.
Okay.
This is in reference to for the first time in 35 years not having a Billboard hip hop song. Let me get this out right in the top 40. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me pull up share my screen to just to talk about it a little bit so you see the headline right there. Now, just to clear this up, technically this was last week, and this week Megan Thee Stallion debuted with some song at number 38. Like,
Lover
that
girl.
was such a big deal. Like, one song at number 38. Wow.
And
But
honestly, that song is not that bad. It's just everybody know what she's talking about. It's called Lover Girl, which she dedicated to Clay Thompson.
yeah, love song, sappy love song called She in a Relationship and in Love. So of course that's gonna get in there, but still number 38, you know what I mean? I know some guy tried to say something smart in our group about it, but anyway, still, the main point about this is mainstream hip hop has a problem, and this has been a problem for a while, even before the battle with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. There was some issues with rappers selling records. Record sales were down, even with the major artists. I believe Young Thug only debuted with like a 35,000 or 40,000 in the first week. You know what I mean?
Damn,
So
really?
yes,
And
yeah,
he just got
he's struggling. He's
wow.
struggling. Little Baby's struggling. A lot of these major, I guess you want to call it, turn up a trap rappers, they struggling outside of Playboy Carti. A lot of them are struggling. So the battle did inject some life in hip hop, but it's almost like since the battle has died down between Drake and Kendrick, it's almost like it got worse than it was before, which it was struggling a little bit before that. But I mean, right after COVID, hip hop was in such a good space. Hip hop had, I want to say, like 8 of the top songs in the top 10. You know what I mean? So there is definitely an issue going on in hip hop. You know what I mean? About in the mainstream, and really that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Now, I do want to bring something up, and Lance, you did bring this up about that there's some new rules with Billboard that I think you can only go to number 26, or after 26 weeks or so, they kind of cut you down or cut you out of there.
Yeah. Once you fall below a certain number.
Yeah, so that came out there, you know what I mean? So that does change the rules. So technically, Luther has been dominating so much that they had to find a way to like get it off the charts to get other people to get in there. But
Well,
see, I still look at it like there should be at least, 4 or 5 or 6 songs hip hop wise that are doing well. You know what I mean? Hip hop, I mean, it's really has dominated music from the end of the 2010s right into the COVID period, a little bit past that, as the number one genre in music. Now it's almost like it's struggling now. I mean, it's struggling. Definitely country music is taking over, but it's all about pop and country now. And it's almost like, hip hop is kind of gone by the wayside in a way. But see, there's a lot of different factors as to why hip hop has kind of fallen off, and I kind of saw this coming. You know what I mean? First, I want to ask you guys' thoughts on hip hop not being in the top 40 for the first time in 35 years. And in a way, is that a good thing? You know, I actually did a video on this where I actually looked at both sides of it. But what do you guys think?
You go
All right,
first,
so
please.
I guess I'll go first. So hip hop has been struggling to stay number one for a while. There was only 3 people who was number one since the battle. Well, before the battle, there was Doja Cat. Bitch, I said what I said. That song went number one.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I believe it was First Person Shooter. That's
That's
2.
true.
Then Kendrick. After that, Kendrick stayed number one all that time.
Yeah.
Not Like Us. Then Luther. Then that was it. No other rapper has went number one after that.
I thought Nokia went number one for like a week.
Nah, Nokia never went number one.
Went number 2.
Went number 2.
It wasn't number one on any other list on Billboard.
We talking about Billboard. That maybe on iTunes or whatever, but on Billboard, no. There was only those 3 people. That's it. And Kendrick, after the battle, he's the only one that stayed number one.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, he was the last person to fall out of the top 2.
Which basically they kind of DQ'd him.
Yeah, basically. But they did that. They did that with Not Like Us as well. Because Not Like Us, once it fell down below 25, I believe, they took it out. Luther, they did the same thing. But the thing is, to answer your question, is this a good thing for hip hop? I'll put it to you like this. I can't even give you an answer to that right now, because I think that hip hop has never experienced something like this yet. You know what I'm saying? So I can't give that answer, but however, I will say that we all got older, and that sound of hip hop has gotten old. I think that people want something fresh. They want something new. They want
creativity. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So if you keep if the whole time drill music, turn up music, that sing melodic rapping, singing rapping, people got tired of that. Like Drake just dropped the song What Did I Miss, right? Drake's one of the biggest artists in the world. What Did I Miss? Drake usually goes number one. He's even struggling to get to number one off of a song that's catered to his style. That lets you know that most people don't want to hear that no more. Nobody wants to hear that singing, rapping no more.
I mean, he's struggling to put out an album.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. So
even when you look at what had just occurred, the Clips, Kendrick, they drop albums. Those albums are highly sought and talked about. The boy, what's his name? The acid rap boy, I can't remember his name right now. You know,
Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper. He dropped a solid album, good album.
Yeah, pretty good.
People like this. They like this part of hip hop. Do I think that this is where it's gonna go? Yes, but my problem is, I think people are going to solely depend on one person, which would be Kendrick, and it's not going to work, because the one thing you have to understand is Kendrick Lamar moves on his time. He don't drop whenever people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not that type of artist. So I think that I don't know if somebody else is going to pick it up, but I do believe that I could say that we might be in a great space, but I don't know yet. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you think, Ansem?
This actually sounds better than I thought. As a fan of pop music,
yeah,
I can see why you can look at this as a bad thing. As a fan of hip hop music, this is groundbreaking. Because hip hop is affecting Billboard charts.
I like the way you look at that.
But here's another thing too.
I like the way you look at it that way.
If we compare this to battle rap, you know how Maurice, every year back in the, like, let's say somewhere in the 2010s, every year where King of the Dot or RBE had a better season than URL, people saw it as a bad thing. Like URL had to be number one for every battle rap fan to love battle rap and talk about it like that. That's how hip hop music is being looked at right now.
Yeah.
Because of that small time period. And now you're telling me who was number one on the billboards. See, you do got a point. I'm thinking they were number one elsewhere. Because I thought Nokia was number one this year. Because I keep hearing Drake stands, and you know your name, bruh. Love to talk about Nokia number one. So
I never hit number one.
No.
Wow.
That's misinformation.
That's a very big effect. I mean, yes, hip hop needs to be back on those top charts. But hey, one thing that really hasn't gone out of style are the female rappers. And it took a female rapper who people thought fell off, bring it back to the charts. Just think about
number 38. That. Yeah. But
even though
keep in mind, I got something to say about what you just said.
One more thing before you go any further.
Yeah.
Notice you didn't say Cardi B.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna talk about that because
Cardi B just put out an album not long ago. That's not on. No song up there is on there right now.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. That's telling. That's really telling, and that kind of makes me feel that hip hop's in trouble because, first of all, I just want to let you know. Now, I'm not saying hip hop is dead. I'm not that guy because hip hop is very much alive. I think this year
we're talking about mainstream rap.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why it's a gift in disguise.
That's right. I think hip hop overall, because I hear a lot of narratives out there that hip hop is dead because the mainstream isn't doing well or the mainstream's falling off. No, hip hop is alive. This album wise and music wise, 2025 was a very good year, and it was better than the last year during the battle. I mean, there are a lot of great albums out there, from Freddie Gibbs to Clips to the Raekwon Project. You mentioned Chance the Rapper. That's a pretty dope project. There's a lot of variety out there.
And meanwhile, at the same time, before you go any further, meanwhile, at the same time, you got people disappointed because Cash Money lost to No Limit. You got people also saying that Not Like Us is trash, or I don't like Kendrick Lamar, so hip hop is falling off.
Because that's Versus. And believe it or not,
that's where the fans come in.
Believe it or not, I think Versus can actually help bring hip hop back. You know what I mean? And bring more energy back to not only legacy acts, but the mainstream. But see, here's the thing we got to understand. The mainstream is down, and I don't think that's really a good thing because mainstream hip hop's very important. Mainstream hip hop is what creates icons. It globalizes hip hop. It builds brands. It makes stars, and it makes for I'm going to go as far as a cultural impact. It's probably the most impactful brand that Black America has in this country is music entertainment. I mean, you look at Michael Jackson, one of the greatest stars of all time. Now, he's not hip hop, but I mean, when the mainstream was really in its prime in the 2000s, you had variety, you had legends on legends, and on top of that, they were making hip hop part of the American vernacular. You know what I mean? A lot of the hip hop terms, became American slang, like, whack and all of that stuff. That's hip hop. You know what I mean? A lot of the great politicians, dirt off your shoulder were slogans for their campaigns, like Barack Obama and all them. So in the end of the day, like, mainstream hip hop is very important. You know what I mean? It basically, I almost look at it. If mainstream hip hop is going great, all of hip hop is going great because you have variety out there. You have different type of styles. You have creativity out there that's celebrated. But there's a lot of factors that are making it basically fall off. And for the first time, I think we're in danger of hip hop just becoming almost a niche subgenre that's going to be broken up. And the rest of the people that are going to use it are going to be a bunch of pop stars that will use hip hop in certain elements, but they're not going to really embrace hip hop, because it used to be that the pop stars were coming to us, coming to hip hop to build their brand. Now it's almost like it's the other way around. Like hip hoppers or hip hop acts are begging the pop acts now, and now the reggaeton acts and the Afrobeat acts to get on their records. So I just want to go and say that. But yeah, go ahead.
So that's just a couple of things you said. One of the things I do see that's happening now is hip hop is just not ours anymore. It used to be exclusively to us, but it got to a point now where it's globally embraced, and some people they mimic it, they use it, they take it, whatever you want to call it, but they don't feel as though they owe it to us anymore, because hip hop has become a thing now. In my opinion, it's just regular music now. It's not like how it used to be. It used to be something that only the blacks could do. We were the only ones that could do it. No one else could do it.
And we're going to talk about that too, Reese, because I think that's because you have the wrong pop acts and the wrong people that use it as regular music representing the culture.
Or they can use it in politics.
That's actually a good point. But what I'm saying is you got people in Japan who's doing it now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You got people in other countries. You got people who are doing Latin turn up. You know,
Latin trap.
Stuff like that. So we definitely has influenced everybody. But I think that with that being said, it's not as secret, like as secretive as it used to be. And now people are, it's just like it's a normal thing now. That's the reason why I think a lot of people don't see hip hop as this exclusive thing anymore. Or it's not
novel anymore.
It's not a novelty anymore.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people see that. I think now we're going into the age of you have to be creative now and again, because it got into the point where everybody was just doing it just to do it. And now people are like, well, I could do that, but you can't do what certain people do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that happens. But another thing I will say real quick is, you know who's going to look like the hero in all of this?
Who's that?
And I hate to say it, Drake. The reason why
I got another theory.
Like the hero,
believe it or not, I got another star that I think is going to be looked at as a hero. But we got plenty of time to talk about that. But I hear what you're saying.
The reason why I think he's going to be looked like as the hero, not the hero as in like he beat Kendrick type. No, I'm saying the hero as in if he drops and he goes number 1 or number 2, everybody's going to say, see, this is what happens when Drake is here.
Then why doesn't Drake drop?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
And this goes back.
That's the mystery question.
But one thing I will say about what you said, I'll let you go, bro.
Yeah.
I think he don't want to drop because he's afraid if he does drop, it's not going to go the way he think it's going to go.
You're damn right.
So
he's petrified.
Yeah. I still don't understand how we still talking about Drake like he has not put out an album this year.
He did.
People are talking like Drake hasn't put out an album since before the battle. Like he put out an album this year.
I talked about this in detail in my last video about hip hop falling out the top 40, and I'll just let you go and hear that because I had a lot to say about that situation with Drake.
You're absolutely right about that. He dropped like over 40 songs.
And on top of that, he's got 3 singles for an album that's not dropping. So I'll let you know that.
Before I go back to Sean's reason, one thing I want to add: what's the new mayor of New York's name? He came out to Ja Rule, New York when he won.
Exactly, I'm telling you, hip hop's part of our America.
It's going to happen in Atlanta. It's going to happen in Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
Get ready to hear Lil Jon in Atlanta and those government.
Oh, that already has
Georgia. Get ready to hear Lil Jon.
Yeah, so I mean, anyway, let's get to it, fellas. let's talk about the first aspect about this streaming platforms. Now, I want to talk a little bit, veer off a little bit, and talk about botting. Okay. Now, this whole botting scandal came up in the Drake UMG case, saying, Kendrick had all of these streams botted and not like us, blah, blah, blah. Then it was dropped out of the case when they couldn't find sufficient enough evidence for it. And it just went to just UMG was just trying to defame Kendrick Lamar by calling a PDF. We all been there. So as of this week, was it? There's now a new class action lawsuit against Drake about him being accused of botting streams. You know what I mean? Now Spotify, not the major record label is behind this, but Spotify is being blamed because they had a bunch of funny VPN addresses with, I think, where there was no residences or somewhere out in some mountains or something like that, where there were no addresses, and they were actually using those addresses to portray that people were playing music in the UK or something like that. And then there's something about said something about some people were listening to Drake 23 hours long or whatever, but it was funny activity that was pointed out. Now, my whole thing about Drake being accused of botting, I'm like, okay, so what? I mean, he's been accused of botting before, and it's kind of known that, the major artists that they want to push over the top, the major streaming platforms, they get more advertising dollars the more people listen to it and through streaming. So why wouldn't they bot them? So it's like, so the fuck what? I mean, all this is really just validation that making Drake look that much more insecure, because it's like Drake basically called out, or tried to call out, because they didn't find any proof really of Kendrick botting, but he just tried to point the finger in the other direction of something he's been doing for years. But they've been doing this for years. But why is this a problem? Because boosting streams from these major artists like Nicki Minaj or Drake or Travis Scott, you know what I mean? This pushes down, other legacy acts that got projects out that might be good, or major, up and coming creative artists, because they get pushed off or pushed down the major playlists like the Rap Caviars and that nature. So I want to ask you, what do you think about how the streaming platforms are hurting mainstream hip hop?
Go ahead first, bro.
Well, number one, the listeners. Think about it. Tekashi 6ix9ine. I remember Lord Jamar said a long time ago how Tekashi 6ix9ine was promoting so much about how he had 5 million streams in one day. And you're thinking about it. You think that's 5 million people liking you? It could be a lot of people watching just because they don't like you. So that's think true. That because people are playing your music, that means they like your music?
That's very true. It's
YouTube. Like, I listen to everybody's music on YouTube. And if you trash, you trash. I've heard trash. You gotta listen and hear trash to call it trash. Yeah. If you call something trash that you never heard, then you a straight up hater.
Yeah.
That's where hating comes into play.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this streaming has existed always. It just so happens that Drake wants to sue, but knowing this was going to come right back at him. A lot of us predicted this.
I mean, we saw this coming a mile away. Like, bro, like, come on, you were accused of botting in 2018. Nicki Minaj called you out on it. Like, so it's like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, is the sky blue? You know what I mean? Like,
a perfect example of someone who can't just take an L and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. There's a couple of different things. One, I remember years ago, me and you had a show called Shadow Code Radio.
Yeah, that's right.
On Blog Talk, and we had a guest on there. We all know who he is, Shannon.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I told Shannon years ago about something they call streaming farms. And he said, man, get the fuck out of here. You don't know what you're talking about, man. That's stupid. And I said, bro, there's a such thing called streaming farms. You know what I'm saying? Where basically they have a bunch of phones and they stream this. Now, that what we would call back then, what we call today, botting. You know what I'm saying? Because back then they had to get all of these different phones, put them in these warehouses and just or anything to keep things on repeat. So we're saying. So do I think that streaming platforms kind of are hurt hip hop? And I have to give Tekashi credit for this. He said this years ago as well. He said they're faking numbers. He said this. He said they're faking numbers. He called out everybody. Drake, he called out Young Thug. He said, how you think these people, they're buying number ones? And then what happened? Young Thug comes out and says that he brought Gunna's number one. He literally said that.
Good point. Good point. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he brought Gunna's number one over the Weeknd's album. Because when the Weeknd's album dropped, they dropped the same day. And he was in jail and he brought his number one and said, no, he don't know, but I'm buying his number one. You know what I'm saying? He did. So I think it's unfair that artists are allowed to do that because you have artists, legacy acts, or other artists that are clearly better or just have better projects than these other artists. These people are allowed to manipulate the system for their benefit. Now, is it okay? No, I don't think that's okay because advertising, all of this money is accumulated that way off of fake shit. You know what I'm saying? So now it's kind of like, oh yeah, you did this, but you did it, and you really didn't do it. You just paid for it. You paid for it. You know what I'm saying? But do I really care at this point? No, because it's so many different artists out there that you can support without really worrying about the streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can still go listen to the music. So I think it's a tricky situation that the mainstream record labels have put themselves into.
Well, I think
Drake.
Well, I think to follow up on that, I think the problem is it's regulated poorly. See, I look at the streaming era, and let's call the streaming era from what 2012,
Migos to now.
Huh?
Migos to now.
Yeah. So 2012, 2013 to now, right? I look at it like, I don't know how much baseball fans you guys are, but it's sort of like baseball in the 90s where 70 to 80% of the game was on steroids. And Major League Baseball knew these people were using steroids and breaking all of these records, like 73 home runs by Barry Bonds and, 70 home runs in one season when 61 was a record and all that. But they did that because after the Major League Baseball strike, they needed to bring back revenue in the Major League Baseball and so on and so forth. So they brought the sport back that way. It's the same thing with music today. And believe it or not, the streaming platforms, I think, are the ones that are kind of running music. I don't even think it's the major labels, because the major labels, which you're going to get to in a minute, they're going off of what the streaming platforms and their algorithms, what they're telling them. But all of these algorithms are, people really don't know how they're generated. You know what I mean? And they're kind of fixed in a way where if you're a Nicki Minaj or a Drake, you're already allotted your spot on a playlist no matter what. Even if the song isn't that good, you already have your brand. So the brand artist, they're going to stream no matter what. But what the problem is when you have an album that kind of breaks through, like the Clips album, which is a legacy act, but it's different, it's fresh, it's a new kind of spin on hip hop. it's not going to get the true representation because they're on some playlists, but they're not on all the playlists. And they don't pop up in all the algorithms that a Drake would or a Nicki Minaj would. You know what I mean? So some of these acts really should be doing better than they really are because they're being, kind of pushed to the wayside from these acts that are going to bring streaming platforms like Apple, like Spotify, more revenue from advertising. See, that's the reason why, like, I think Drake signed a deal a ways back with Apple or something like that.
Yeah.
Kanye did the same thing. I kind of didn't like that because I'm like, oh, I see what y'all are doing. Y'all are trying to get invested in that company because they're going to give you the perks to get an upper hand on other artists that might be signed to major labels or what have you. So no matter what, even if it's a whack song, they're going to try and push that more. So, you already got the streaming platforms in your hand. So when Drake came full circle in the UMG case, I was like, that has to be the most just petty bitch move you could ever do when the streaming platforms were always in Drake's pocket, no matter what, and always behind him, from Apple to what happened now with Spotify. And this whole thing about him being accused of, streaming farms or botting in fake locations or what have you, it's no surprise to me. I was just like, when is this shit going to happen already?
Wasn't this rumored around Scorpion?
Yeah, around the Scorpion album. Actually, Nicki Minaj said something about it.
I'll give you a different perspective on why things are the way they are when it comes to streaming, right? So what you just said is absolutely true, but here's the thing that I think a lot of people are not paying attention to. So no matter what happens, it's always going to be pop. That's right. Top. Pop is not a genre. So hip hop can invade pop, country can invade pop. It's popular music.
And it can leave and always come back too.
It can do that.
Good point.
Most people or most artists from hip hop to country to alternative, they want to reach that level of pop. The reason why I say that is because hip hop, we are hip hopsters. We don't want to see our hip hop pop. Most artists that become popular, like Jay-Z, they automatically get put in that category. So their music will be, the algorithm will favor them more. It will push them much more. And most artists want to be in that. They don't want to say that because they will never say this. But they want
this is where the streaming era comes into play.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about the accolades that Jay-Z had, even back in those days before streaming was even a thing, before even ringtones. We've seen his record sales. Now, those type of sales are clearly not the same as right now because you had to buy Jay-Z's album or at least a single.
Yeah.
To listen to it. And that's assuming you didn't even know how to use the internet back then and download. Assuming you couldn't do that because that wasn't a regular thing.
Well, the reason the point I'm making is when you talk about algorithms, and it works this way on YouTube too, because it's kind of weird that, but I have to say this: people have to push to be on top. Us rappers, us fans, we always hated commercial rap. We always hated all of these things because we looked at it. That's not a proper representation of hip hop. But at this point, hip hop has become pop. So they have to be pushed up there. You know what I'm saying? So when you got somebody you got somebody like Clips, although their album is classic to me, it could never be in that mainstream category or pop category. It will always be hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
You know who can be in that pop category right now? Not even a hip hop artist. Kai Cenat interviewing people that he don't even know. on an award show. He's that big in hip hop right now. We're not even talking about rap music.
But that's
Hip
the
hop
sad
right
part.
now.
But
Let's
see,
talk about it real quick. Drake, not Drake, Kanye West, right?
yeah.
Kanye West was one of those artists that I believe broke the mold, and he was in between hip hop and pop or whatever you want to call it, right? The reason why I'm saying because what you're saying is absolutely true, but I think at a certain point, hip hop has become capped. It hasn't without saying it's pop. I'm saying it hasn't.
You know what it is?
Over.
It's so stuck up that it's spreading beyond the music. Now you can be a part of hip hop and not even make the music, but have the music around.
But see, this is my thing. My pushback to that is that you're absolutely right. It's been capped, but it never used to be that way.
Of course it wasn't, because streaming didn't run hip hop.
That's my major point. They're the ones, the streaming platforms are the ones that are capping, okay, and they're being the gatekeepers as to you get in this algorithm and you're not good enough for the algorithm. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. Because in the 2000s, like literally Let God Sort Them Out, it would be platinum by now.
Of course.
Because in the 2000s, when people actually went out to the stores, you did traditional promotion, traditional radio campaigns, street teams promoting the albums, all of that stuff. Artists really sold their music. You know what I mean? And the creativity was sold. The different sounds from every region was sold. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if we were going to say, Let God Sort Them Out would have easily sold in the 2000s, probably would have gone number one and would have sold probably 250,000 to 300,000 the first week. You know what I mean? But it only sold, that's the reason why in the first week, it sold, I think, 118,000. That was big time. That was a big time deal.
That's actually good in this era.
Very good in this era. That's
and
probably
it's not
the
being
most
talked
impressive.
About. I find that interesting.
Yeah, that's the most impressive
that was actually
you can do, for a real rap act.
Yeah.
But see, because the streaming platforms are telling you about what's on what playlist, and if you're this brand of artist, if you're Drake brand, if you're Nicki Minaj brand, okay, you're good enough to get on the A playlist, even if the song is subpar. That's what's happening now. They're capping out the creative artists. And see, when an artist does break the mold, like a Doechii that brings something different and creative, she's an industry plant. You know what I mean? She got to be bodied because she doesn't sound like what Nicki sounds like. Or
not realizing that she's been putting out music before then. And this is where the hip hop knowledge comes into play, going back to the listener.
Exactly.
Now we got streaming fans. We got fans that judge rappers based on the number of streams you have online or the number of listeners you have online. Forget how much you sold. Even though I thought to mainstream people that's more important, y'all talk about streams. Like the streaming, this is why I call this a weird era, because it's almost like I'm played on the radio more than you, but No Limit is selling more than you. Like back in the days. It's like that, it's that type of bragging right now. Like bragging about being played on the radio more than somebody, but No Limit is making more money.
Yeah, so I think Reese, before you go ahead, I think what the problem is why you don't see these songs in the top 40 is because like fans have gotten tired of that sound, and
the trap sound.
They might play it on the radio or whatever, but I do think that there's a brand of fans out there that want to hear the Clips album more. They want to see it, but they look at it like, oh, that only streams that but so much and it's not streaming. So it becomes more of a niche album, niche hip hop album, instead of getting the real push it really should. Because the streaming platforms, I think, are the major gatekeepers right now when it comes to mainstream hip hop. Bottom line.
I think y'all both right. I will to add to that, I think what happened with us with the fan became a fan of the artist and not the music.
That's true.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And all the people love the artist.
But that's part of the brand. That's part of the brand phenomena
Yeah,
they,
exactly.
where the mainstream casual fan follows the brand of the artist and not the
Yeah.
music. That's right.
And I think that and I kind of blame the artists for that as well, not just the
Yeah.
record labels, because the artists are more into, let's just say back in the day we had rappers that had jewelry, but they were more, the jewelry was just an accessory. Now the jewelry is actually them. That
Mm,
it's at the forefront.
mm.
It's not just an accessory anymore. The cars are
Yeah.
them. It's not the accessory anymore. Because they'll show their jewelry and their car off more than they show their new song off. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think would happen to a lot of artists. They more, every time you see your boy Drake, he's showing off his new joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's showing off his new joint. Every time you see these artists, they showing off, and they end on top of that. And we'll get to the other part about it, the podcasting part. That's
We'll
another
get to that. But before we go there, and it's interesting we brought up the brand artist, because this is what the major labels now are investing in. So with that, how are the major record labels hurting mainstream hip hop? Because it looks like what's going on here are the major labels, like we just said, they're basing all of their work off of the numbers, the metrics that are showing algorithms of these artists. And most of these algorithms are coming from virality, meaning they're coming from TikTok and Instagram. And this is why you see them pushing basically one hit, one song wonders like an Ice Spice or a Sexy Red instead of new, young, creative artists. I do the whole Doechii versus, take for example, I just brought up Doechii, but Doechii versus Ice Spice. They pushed the hell out of Ice Spice hard for a good year. And after people got tired of it and realized, you know what? This chick just shakes her ass on stage and she's really boring off of one song. They kicked her to the curb. But instead of major labels investing in that or investing in a team to really find talent, number one, develop talent, develop real songwriters, they're just bringing people off of hip hop, off of TikTok, and it's almost like Vanilla Ice syndrome. We like your image, we like how many followers you got on Instagram, so we're going to bring you into our label, and we're going to make you and mold you into something. And literally a year later, they kick them out. So you go from Ice Spice to Sexy Red, but Doechii, because she had one real viral hit, but she actually had a great album, she gets labeled a quote unquote, industry plant, because that's what these major labels are doing. They're finding industry plants to sell their record label now. They're not investing in developing talent or actually finding talented artists who are singers, songwriters, and producers like they did in the 90s and 2000s.
Well, I think I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of people give the record labels too much credit.
Yeah.
I don't think the record labels do any of all that no more. I think the record labels are just that. You got to come in with some type of buzz nowadays. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some people who they do push, but I think the record labels are more focused on how to re-up the money that they gave you and get your catalog to be something that they can keep and recoup, because there's only really three three major labels. UMG runs everything. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your other people that's under them or whatever. But I definitely think that you're right about that. But just to add to that, I think a lot of record labels don't even look at stuff like that. They don't care about the talent part. They care about your impressions. That's all they care about. If Doechii can have the best album of all time, but if her impressions is not like Ice Spice, they're gonna go with Ice Spice all day, because they're in the business of making money. That's how they look at it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we, like, let's just say this. Let's just use them example. Doechii is a better rapper than Ice Spice. She's better than Ice Spice, right? If Doechii had more impressions than Ice Spice, she'll be like Kendrick Lamar. They'll be pushing her. You know what I'm saying? That's how they do. Look, you just got to look at how they make money. You know what I'm saying? That's all they care about. They don't really care about the talent part of it. I think we get that confused. These record labels don't care about none of that. They don't care how good you are. They just care about how can you make more money for us.
I think, for example, and Lance, you brought up Cardi B, and I think this is a very, very important example because Cardi B was kind of the prototype for the viral star that we were going to make into a great rapper.
Yeah.
You know, she uses a lot of writers. Maybe she has a lot of energy, but she has a personality that's infectious and it sells. And they signed her on her personality. They could care, okay, maybe she could rap. She got some bars. She's okay, but we'll work on that. But she wasn't really a talent music-wise. But you see now, 7 years later, after her debut smash Invasion of Privacy, this album, and I'm just going to be honest, I think her album's it's pretty decent. It's a decent album. It's pretty dope. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually listened to it here and there. I'm surprised. And they gave her the best producers, best features, marketing, all of that stuff. And it's struggling to do what it's supposed to do because people have figured it out with Cardi B. It's like, yeah, she's a great person. I like Cardi B, but her music is just okay. And they're kind of figuring that out now. You know what I mean? So this kind of explains the phenomenon because I bet you now her next album, it's not going to do shit. Like the major label, the label she's on is not going to invest in her the way they used to because they looked at it like, all right, we brought her in, we're going to spit her out now because they didn't invest in talent. They invested in a personality. And that's the problem.
I agree with both of y'all. With that said, your question, are major record labels hurting mainstream hip hop? Yes. Two things. Number two, I hope I don't get banned from your channel, but number one, the 360 deal.
Yes.
Like that, the 360 deal is part of the reason why we're talking about all of these things.
That's true.
Why Drake is even in court in the first place.
That's exactly right.
He's affected by his 360.
Well,
I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is a topic that we all love, but at the same time, we know it's hurting it too. And it starts with the letter P, but I'm just going to say women.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that runs hip hop more than streaming is women. Because now women can use hip hop to promote themselves. Because even though in America, the average man makes more money than the average woman is way more marketable than the average man in America. So OnlyFans, Instagram, any other like websites or jobs where they can promote themselves and be able to actually make a profit off of it.
Let me ask you this.
Can because I've asked people like, do you know any underground rappers that make money off OnlyFans? People look at me weirdly like, OnlyFans ain't for underground rappers. Or it's for those type of females. But you don't necessarily have to show your whole body on OnlyFans. Or you don't have to do everything sexual on OnlyFans. But females are making money off OnlyFans.
Do you think
they can play hip hop music in the background? Or even playing a hip hop beat that they like in the background. While on Instagram and Facebook, we're seeing women making poses playing the hip hop that they like on their phone. That's what they're posting, promoting
but
themselves.
The thing about it is
that's promoting music as well.
That's right. But the thing about it is the mainstream or the masses aren't going to like that. You know, maybe a little niche audience of, you know, maybe some strippers or, you know, that's why you see that kind of brand of hip hop, the Cardi B brand, if you want to call it P rap or strip hop or whatever, it's fading out because none of those artists are selling anymore. If you know,
but those are the same fans that love Drake. But those are also the same fans that love Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, Burner Boy, if we want to go that
But the
direction.
thing about it
He
is,
was savage.
if you notice, they're not making the impact that their personality projects now. Like the Glorilla, and I actually like Glorilla a little bit. She's not bad as an artist. But the thing about it is she should be doing better. She should be doing much better from the promotion she gets from Instagram and social media and all of that.
She
And
was
the
doing
attention she
actually
gets.
fine. She was doing fine. It's just her style's just slowly fading away.
But the
Except the
thing
women.
about it is, where's the platinum record? Did she even go platinum yet? You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like she should be double platinum by now. But I mean, she's what excuse me, she's what kind of Cardi was back in the late 2010s, and she's not, because the music, the talent. I'm not gonna say the talent because some of them have talent. Like Lotto can actually rap. Glorilla could actually rap. I'm not going
to definitely got plaques.
Huh?
She definitely got plaques.
Yeah, but I'm saying she should be doing more.
Well,
maybe gold plaques. You know what I mean?
TGIF platinum. Yeah, Glow platinum.
What about the album? No.
Platinum.
Don't give me the singles. Give me the album.
Okay, let's look up the album. Let me see. That's all I see. Anyway, Life's Great is gold. Everything is gold. Glorious is gold. So her albums are gold, but her singles are platinum.
Don't give me the all right, and that's another thing. Don't give me the platinum single, because what does that go back to? Streams. And that's the 4 billion, the 5 billion streams. And we all know they're kind of fraudulent. You know, when did the single all of a sudden became the standard of an artist? I mean, give me the album. And if you have like 3 or 4 platinum singles and you're only going gold, that means to tell me that you're not real, you're underperforming, in my opinion.
If you're speaking on that level, yes, I agree with you.
Underperforming.
But women don't care. They love them hits.
I get it. But that tells me your reach is only but so far. You know what I mean? You're just having a niche audience play the shit out of a couple songs. That's all that is.
You're right. That's true.
I will say, as far as the record labels go or the mainstream, there's such thing as campaigns, and a lot of these artists, they get advance money and they get these campaigns. The record label really don't push them like that.
Exactly.
They get advance. Let's say they get $1 million. They have to hire a team and all these people. Some people get that money and they don't know how to promote themselves the proper way or whatever. Then you got people who do have teams and they do that. The point I'm making is, a lot of times we can't put all the ownership on record labels when it comes to these artists, because these artists, they're the ones that come to these record labels with all of these fans. And if you're making the music and your music isn't as good, no matter how much dollars that these record labels put behind you, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna blow up. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of manipulation in a way, because we know that's what some record labels do anyway.
Yeah,
it's kind of manipulation. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of what I was saying, is they don't put the artist development and promotion budgets they put behind artists back in the 2000s. So they kind of cut that, and they said, well, we're just going to dress it up this way and hope it works out. And it really doesn't. It does initially, but it doesn't sustain itself. You know what I mean? And these artists are going to get lesser and lesser advance budgets or album advances before the next album, and they're going to fizzle out fast. That's why you see so many, especially these female artists. Like, has anybody talked about Sexy Red in the last 6 months? And she was like the hottest thing, like last year? You know what I mean? She's a ghost now. You know what I mean? So that goes to show that they're promoting the one-hit wonder system. They're promoting the one-year artist system now, not the artist that is going to grow with time. Like, an example I'll give you, I don't know if you listen to R&B, but there's this guy, Leon Thomas. He's an R&B singer. He's a talented producer, singer, songwriter. He plays a guitar, all of that. He's just starting to get his attention now. He probably might win a couple Grammys this year. That's an artist to watch out for. But the problem is they don't have those younger artists in the hip hop side of thing that they can put money or decide to invest behind to kind of push those guys forward. And that's a big problem. We're going to talk about artists in probably part 2 of this, but that's just an example of what's going on here.
Here's a crazy thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
What helped Soulja Boy blow up back in the 2000s wasn't even his music; it was his ringtones.
Yeah,
and you could say that before there was streaming, there was ringtones.
There was the ringtone deal.
Are we feeling that we need a Soulja Boy of that age to bring back hip hop in a pop state in this type of era?
You need more than
that.
You need more than that.
I think hip hop is going through a restructuring phase. As far as like getting back into like the mainstream of pop, hip hop is still there, but like I said before, I think it just became ordinary now. It's not exciting anymore to people. It's like, oh, we heard it all before.
Exactly.
Do I believe that somebody without it being like commercialized? I don't think so. I think if something like that happens, it's gonna be cheesy as hell.
It's the 1 year artist era. We'll invest in you. We'll push you for a year, but after that, who cares?
Before we end this episode, have y'all heard about what Jermaine Dupri was saying? He was comparing Milli Vanilli to some AI R&B artist right now that's being nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
We're in that age now.
Yeah,
Milli Vanilli is wild.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. If you listen, I want y'all to do this when we get off this. Go and look up, just type in soul tapes on YouTube. There's people who are making AI music of rap songs, just old 60s songs. This shit sounds better than anything I ever heard in my life. It sounds so incredible. They did like 10 Crack Commandments. They did Stan, all of these songs, but they did it like in like Isley Brothers form or the Temptations form.
I know you're talking about,
It's crazy as hell. I'm like, yo, if this is the future of music, we're done, bro.
We got to do a whole. We got
to invest in AI and make something better for hip hop, not make something worse for hip hop. That's where we at right now. I'm now taking 2 AI
exactly what you're saying. I get that.
Real talk, Sean. I'm taking 2 AI summits these past 6 months. Have you told me what you've been doing offside of this episode as far as what you do for a living? And I respect both of y'all. With that said, man, from what I've learned from these last 2 summits, this AI is taking over. We gotta find a way to make AI actually accepted in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole other show. We got to do a whole other show separately on AI because that is a major debate. I had a back and forth with somebody on the page because I know what post you're talking about. I posted that in the group today, Lance, and basically he was telling me, well, see, this is great because artists like the DOC and Beanie Siegel could get their voice back.
In that case, it's a good thing, but not in these other ways. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it is all right. So where does it stop there? What if there was an artist that they signed that has a little bit of a weak voice, and all of a sudden they want to redo their voice all through AI and boost that up? Sort of like how they do with the auto tune and the voice enhancements with some pop singers, right? So it's like, where does it end?
Yeah, you just described Jennifer Lopez.
Thank you.
It's another era, but we gotta find something, bro, because it's really taking over. So
I don't know.
Corporate America in general too.
I got one more we're gonna get to because I told you this is gonna be a long show. hip hop media platforms, good for mainstream hip hop or not? Reese, I know you got a lot to say on this one because it seems now that, especially the younger fans, it seems like this is almost like their version of what we really, it's almost like their version of listening to hip hop albums now. It's like they go to these platforms like a DJ Academics, like an Aiden Ross or a Kai Cenat, and they let them tell them what to listen to and what they think slaps and who they like, and then they go listen to the songs. And whatever the hell they say, they believe. You know, if it's a lie, if it's a made-up exaggeration, they don't care. And then they end up picking sides. Hip-hop media platforms are dividing hip-hop fans and dividing hip-hop. I noticed that. I definitely have known that the biggest thing to come out of the beef with Kendrick Lamar and Drake was the rise of hip-hop media. You know what I mean? But with that came a great divide. And people now are using hip-hop media to really use or pick their narratives against great artists like Jay-Z or Rock Nation. Oh, because this media platform doesn't like Jay-Z, Jay-Z is the worst rapper of all time. So that's what's going on now. You know what I mean?
What's really going on is Jay-Z never been the number one rapper in the game. So the F what? He's arguably the most consistent hip-hop artist of all time.
Where does that start? These media platforms. Reese, I'll let you have the floor because I know you got a lot to say.
Yeah, I know Reese about to say something. Go ahead, bro.
Hip hop media is terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible. I think all of them are terrible. I think that every one of them are not beneficial to hip hop. I think they all have too many opinions, and all of these old, I ain't gonna say washed up rappers. I'm just gonna say all of these rappers are now becoming hip hop media. They have a different way of going about discussing music than an actual journalist or media personality. I just don't think that, and this goes for Joe Buttons, this goes for Academics, Aiden Ross, all of them. I think, in my opinion, they don't add any value besides telling you that they're hip hop media. They don't add any value, in my opinion, to hip hop.
And donate to them.
That's it. I just don't
their own pockets.
That they're I think all of them have an agenda that they push. Every one of them. They all have a narrative that they're pushing. Nobody can't say they're neutral. They spread a lot of misinformation. Some of them don't have their facts correct. I'm not saying I always have my facts correct. Sometimes I'm wrong too. But every one of them have whether it's somebody that they work for or they don't want to offend somebody. They don't want to. When Joe Buttons first started, when I'm named this podcast later, was the greatest time, the greatest show ever, in my opinion, ever to exist. Hip hop show ever exists was Everyday Struggle. That was the greatest show ever.
I never liked that.
I'm gonna tell you why.
But also keep in mind before you even mention that, the reason why Joe Budden had that podcast was actually because of Peter Rosenberg.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? But that's another topic itself. But go back to what you were saying, Maurice.
But the reason why I say Everyday Struggle was the greatest hip hop show of all time, in my opinion, because you had Nadeska, she was neutral, but you had Joe Buttons. He represented hip hop, the old hip hop. Academics represented the new hip hop, and they clashed and they talked about it and they gave their opinion about stuff, and it was up front. It wasn't no agenda being pushed. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the perfect show to have. But once it got to the point where now everybody's a hip hop podcaster now. Now everybody has their favorites and they push their favorites. Yeah. Drake didn't lose that battle. What you mean he didn't lose the battle? No, he won because of this song. Be like, then people start pushing their agenda to their audience. It became a monster that's just out of control now.
And now we got academics telling
hip hop anymore.
And now we got academics telling people versus is a hits battle, knowing damn well it never was a hits battle. That's number one. Number two, even back on Everyday Struggle, academics was promoting drill music by doing that, whatever special he was doing on Chirac, where people what's his name got offended. That one Chicago rapper,
Vic Mensa.
Yeah, he got offended. And of course, he called himself the greatest like Drake fan ever until the battle actually happened.
Well, no, he actually was a Kendrick fan.
I remember Accidental was always talking about Drake, or was he a Kendrick fan in the beginning?
No, he was a Kendrick. No, he was a big Kendrick on Everyday Struggle. He said Kendrick had 3 classic albums, and Kendrick was way better than Drake. And if they ever battled, Kendrick would smoke him. He literally said that.
He's fake as fuck. He said that. I ain't never heard. If he said that, yeah,
I swear
man.
to God,
We just answered our own question.
You can find it.
Yeah, man.
Academics is going to ride with whatever narrative, and I say narrative, is going to get him the most attention or get him the most streamers, people to stream into his, because he was on Twitch before, but now he's got a podcast. But he goes with whatever narrative. And I noticed with Academics, he sometimes goes with a lot of times he goes with a controversial or alternative take because it's going to bring more haters to him. Because the more haters and attention that you have about a take is the bigger you're going to get. There's this guy by the name of, I mean, you guys are somewhat into sports, right? So you know Skip Bayless is, right?
Yeah.
So Skip Bayless always had the wildest alternative take when it comes to sports. Like, he thinks LeBron James is the most overrated player of all time and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the list goes on. So that guy became the biggest sports commentator at one time, bigger than Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith is bigger now. But controversy sells. And a lot of these hip hop media outlets, they just want to promote controversy and they want to promote pushback. That's all they want to do. They don't want to have a real conversation about hip hop or push the culture or push music forward. It's not till now Joe Buttons is kind of having more legacy acts on, but I noticed it's still almost a sideshow. They bring the artists on there to talk about the gossip and, you know, Offset. Okay, did you really cheat on Cardi B? Blah, blah, blah. All of that shit. So that's not hip hop. And it's like you said, like,
not at all.
That's useless. What am I learning about Offset's music here? You know what I mean? And
well, I actually think that is hip hop. I think hip hop is filled with a bunch of bullshit. That is hip hop. I just don't agree with that. But that is hip hop. The hip hop now, you have look what they're doing. Like, look at Cardi B and look at Cardi B's pregnant by somebody. I don't want to get into all that. I'm just saying she's pregnant by a dude she's married by another dude.
But see, but you notice, Reese, that's bigger than the music now.
Yes, that's like, that's
like,
what I mean.
Okay, Cardi B is having her 4th child with a dude who might have another baby on the way with a chick he was also dealing with on the side. Oh yeah, by the way, she has a couple singles out. You want to go listen to her music? Oh yeah, we'll listen to it. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. You see what I mean? And
it used to be the controversy, and then the music
media is making it
now
worse.
The controversy is like thought of without the music. Like that's
exactly.
The controversy is the main course, and the music is the appetizer.
What's the first thing they say is what they got going on? They didn't even care
exactly.
what's wrong with that person?
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you know, people got to be responsible for what they say, their words. And I think they know that their words hold weight. Like, let's just use Joe Buttons as an example. Joe Buttons called Kendrick Lamar a Grammy darling. That's a terrible take. When you say something, because no matter which way we look at it, I like the Grammys. You know me, I do. But the Grammys is looked at as a negative thing in our culture. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody looks at as the Grammys as negative. When you say Kendrick is a Grammy darling, you're basically saying they just give him awards. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how good his music is. They just be giving him the awards. And then when you say stuff like, well, how many did he win last year? Oh, he won 5. Oh, he need to get out of the way.
What Joe Buttons is trying to do is to create a sensationalism narrative. So they could come on and he could rile up one side against each other so they could fight it out about the Grammy Awards. I saw that episode too. You know what I mean? And in the end of the day, Joe Budden said that, but then he kind of backtracks on it and contradicts himself and wants to give Kendrick praise at the same time. So it's like, what's it going to be, bro? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's my problem with JPP is they have a very good cast of people on there, and they have very diverse and articulate points. But it's like they just want to throw a bunch of opinions out there and let you figure it out, kind of. You know, there's no real pro and con here. You know what I mean? But see, that's good for him, but it's bad for hip hop because people just take shit and run with it, and then they take a narrative and they twist it in a certain way to make it seem like, oh, Kendrick, yeah, they just gave him a Grammy because Kendrick paid for Grammys. You see what I'm saying? Shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
And
no,
that's the problem with hip hop media is they just go ahead and they try and get a controversial pro and con with these artists, even though they may not even believe that. So it's all just sensational bullshit. And I think DJ Academics, I'm almost ready to say he's the worst thing to ever happen to hip hop. One of them.
Definitely one of them. Definitely one of them. What? Crazy, man. Like,
I mean, the man really, Reese, did I really hear that correct? And did he really say, oh yeah, he just brought that girl on stage because it was a concert with Drake and
that was Aiden Ross who said that.
It was Aiden
Ross is even worse. Oh,
yeah,
God.
he said that.
Yeah.
And they compared it to Kendrick beat up. He actually said, we know Kendrick beat up his wife. Like, we know Kendrick beat up his wife. Like, he really said that on camera. Like,
yeah, where there's no video evidence whatsoever of that, and they try to say, oh yeah, well they paid the guy off. Oh really? Where did the payoff come? What am I missing here?
Like you beat if you beat your girlfriend up, this should be a police report, right? They reported it. So
yeah,
it's paperwork out there.
Off, though.
Yeah,
like what? So you paid? So how did you know?
So let me get this right. This guy has got all of these. Let me get this right. So Academics has all of these bot streamers and anonymous botters that say they botted for Kendrick, but you couldn't get the guy that actually got paid off that had the tape that Kendrick actually assaulted his wife. Exactly. You know what I mean? I mean, he gets exposed right there. You can get every other side botter and the guy that planted the evidence for the guy that planted the fake evidence, right? For Drake. Oh, you got him on the show, but you can't get the guy that Kendrick paid off to get to make a videotape go away, right?
But
that should tell you right now. That should tell you right there he is a stone cold fraud. 100%.
The crazy thing is, like him, Aiden Ross, and all of them, they have their agenda that they've been trying to push. They want to make Kendrick look, because you can't, there's nothing they can do with him. So they want to make him look like something happened, because the most egregious thing you could say about Kendrick is he beat on his girl because he's supposed to be pro-black, all about family. Oh, this guy is a womanizer. You know what I'm saying? You talk about Drake do this, but he beats on his girl. Like, that's just as bad as being a pedo to me. You know what I'm saying? So I think they know that. So they'll just say these things in front of their 10,000 people on their stream. And now out of 10,000, maybe 5,000 of them are saying, yeah, man, Kendrick is be beating on his girl, bro. He do be doing that. And be like, how you know? I don't know. Aiden Ross told me. Be like, really? Like, yeah. Aiden Ross don't lie to me, bro. Why would he lie? He knows he did it.
Whoever listens to DJ Academics, you know, word for word and takes his stuff as gospel, you're the worst thing that happened to hip hop too. I say that with a straight face, because that's, I mean,
it's not even touching young people. It's touching people our age too.
Those are the people that, you know, the sky is clearly blue, and they'll say, no, it's nighttime. Just because
let me explain to you how academics, how much power he has, right?
Yeah.
Influence that he has over everybody, right? Over Joe Buttons, all of them. Mainstream news networks quote him, bro.
Exactly.
I swear to God.
I do remember someone was quoting
news networks.
academics.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you what, before you go ahead, Lance. That shows how pathetic mainstream news networks are. That's the real problem. That you're trying to do that to
they use
people today.
They use his footage. Yes,
that's even worse. That's how bad they are, and that's even worse, making them look worse. If you're gonna quote that clown,
that's what I'm saying. So people gotta understand what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a person who he streams. That's his job. He streams 8 hours a day sometimes. And he talks about stuff all day. He did I watched the whole thing he did when he did the Diddy trial and he did the YSL trial. I watched the whole thing. He did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Read everything, the whole thing.
Hey,
and he typed like a maniac.
Yeah. Check this out.
You ever seen him type? You ever seen him type, bro?
Yeah, man.
You ever seen him type?
He's a computer nerd.
Yo, that dude, I never seen nobody type that fast in my life. Like, yo, he goes so fast. I was like, God damn.
I be trying to do that, but I can't do that though.
But he's crazy.
Hey, yo, Sean, check this out. I got a question for you, Maurice. Imagine if one of your people who you know loves Drake tells you, yo, mother, I sober really was about Kendrick being molested. Listen to this part of the third verse. How would you feel if you heard someone tell you that?
Man, people are so stupid, bro. They take that song and they twist it. It's not even about that. They just twist it to however they want it to be. And I'm like, why? He said that too. Academics said that too.
This is where social media is influencing even regular people.
But
saying dumb stuff to people online like this, and in their mind they think they're right. But it's not like they're even trolling.
Lance, right before I to go back on that, you know what that just shows? That shows that people don't listen to lyrics or listen to music no more. Or
they do listen to lyrics, but they want to make a narrative because what they like isn't winning.
I bet you they probably listened to it, but they didn't listen to the whole song. They probably skimmed through it.
Well, most people, believe it or not, and I think this is another reason why hip hop has fell. Most people are they listen to other people's validation. So it's like if
that's
showing
the problem with hip hop media. That's it.
Yeah, if showing like something, then I know I'm gonna like
it. Hip hop media is telling them what somebody else is like is what to be listened to, and that's a problem. Before we go, I got to ask you guys one question real quick, because this actually has to do with the sensationalism that these hip hop media outlets are doing. What are y'all thoughts about the NLE Chopper and the NBA YoungBoy battle and this record? Because this dude, Reese, I don't know if you did a video about this yet.
No.
This dude, NLE Chopper, did like a whole dance routine, and a whole feature film music video dissing NBA YoungBoy.
On the same sample that Tupac and Biggie used, Player Anthem's remix and Hit 'Em Up, that sample.
But you know what's crazy about it? Like it's actually catchy and it's actually listenable. Like you're gonna actually listen to it and you're gonna be singing the song in your head the whole day. Literally, I played it this morning. I've been playing it in my head the whole day. Like, and see, this is the problem. This kind of ties into what we're talking about. Now, rappers are using beef for whatever kind of clout attention they can get to get over on shit, because people really don't care unless you're under the age of like 25. You don't care about this shit because NBA YoungBoy's fan base is like, 25 and under. You know what I mean? But I gotta ask you, did you guys see this video yet?
I've seen the video.
What are your thoughts on it? I had to get your take on this.
I just think it's funny. I think it's
hilarious.
funny. I just think it's funny because the way he was dancing, I just thought it was so funny. I just laughed.
Did you do a video on this yet?
The words. I didn't listen to the words. I just keep seeing him going like this in the song. I'm like, oh God, bro.
Did you do a torture talk on this one yet?
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
I haven't
I
seen the video
because I don't really I try not to react to songs, but I did watch it and it's just funny.
Oh my God, man.
As far as him dissing NBA Youngboy, I think he just did another one.
He did do another one on Quiet Storm remix.
Did y'all hear the Designer freestyle?
Oh yeah.
Pretty fire.
Now he want to rap
good,
like that.
Man.
Yeah.
I actually posted it in the group. It's pretty good.
Now he wants to rap like that. That's my thing, man.
Yeah, because the turn up shit ain't doing shit no more. At least especially for New York rappers.
And speaking of L.E. Chopper, he just put out another video doing a freestyle to the Quiet Storm beat. This an NBA Youngboy.
Yeah.
But, it's actually pretty good. Like, not for nothing. He's a weird guy because he's got some skills. He's got some all right music. He's from Memphis. A lot of the Memphis guys, they pretty good when it comes to trap. He's not like my guy Key Glock though. That's my man down there. He's the man to me when it comes to the Memphis trap scene. But NLE Chopper's all right, But I'm like, bro, why this? Like, this is how you want to be now? Like,
oh, what's the name? Dropped a new song, Big Chris, fire. I love it.
I got to check that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I heard he was coming back, man.
Yeah,
Got to check that.
It's pretty dope.
Anyway, fellas, this is part 1. We're gonna try and do part 2 next week because there's a lot more to get to. We got to talk about the fans, the artists, you know what I mean, what they're doing, and really who is the next one who can really save hip hop. Reese, you kind of alluded to that before. I have some comments on that, so we'll get to that next week. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. Ansem, Reese, do your promo.
BLG, aka Bootleg Gang, on YouTube, Facebook groups. By the way, the name of that Big Crit song is called Gotta Do It. I'm gonna watch it right after this.
Oh, I'm checking that too. Most definitely.
Yeah, Torture Talk, you know what it is, man. We in here. I'll catch y'all on Torture Talk or Torture Talk After Hours. Either one.
Shout out the league too.
Huh?
All right.
Shout out the league.
Yeah, man. Shout Sig-U, You know what I mean?
Sig-U's back. I just caught that, man, that Sig-U's coming back. Yeah, shout out to them to the Battle League. And hopefully y'all got a YouTube page too, right?
Yeah, Sig-U got a YouTube page. The Battle
gotta go check that out. Sig-U Battle League. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. Stay tuned for some new content coming up this weekend. And next week we will have part 2 of our discussion on mainstream hip hop. So with that, y'all enjoy the rest of your night. All right? Peace.
All right, man, Maurice, holla at you.